What's up, YouTube? It's Kenny again. I'm still here, guys. I'm sitting in a truck stop here in Illinois, waiting to leave so I can go pick up. And I wanted to make a video, talk about some things that I did in the M1 Finance. So pretty much everything is the same as it was the last time I made a video. Apologize for not making videos, but as I said before, there's just not a whole lot to talk about. And, you know, I don't want to be trying to give you guys the news and stuff. You know, that ain't what I'm about. So, I did make some changes, made some deposits, and I wanted to talk about that. So, I'd made about a $600 deposit. I have about $600 in cash in the Roth IRA. I have not purchased anything with that yet. Waiting on an opportunity. And then the M1 Finance, you know, because the videos have been slow and I haven't gotten a lot of revenue from YouTube, I've been kind of holding that and waiting for it. And I did take the disbursement from the Patreon and I got paid from YouTube. And so I put, what is it, $371 into the M1 Finance. Okay, well, over the last several days, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a truck driver driving across the country, researching and trading stocks, and I will not be held responsible for any moves you make in the stock market. Not ever. I'm not your mama. We get that out of the way. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, and all that jazz. So the M1 Finance, I made a $371 deposit. It is set to buy this morning. Now, I made some changes in that account over the last, I don't know, week or two, and shifted around some percentages and added some new stocks. So the new stocks that I have added to the M1 Finance, which is obviously a YouTube account, I added Berkshire Hathaway, I added Disney, I added Microsoft, I added OEG, and I added T-Mobile. Now, the idea is I've got another, you know, obviously OEG is a growth stock that I've got in there, but I wanted to add some more stability on top of the few more stable stocks that I've put in there already into this account. And it's possible that I may start putting some of my own money into this pie as well, and not just the YouTube money. This deposit is going to put us up around 14 something, close to $1,500 in the M1 Finance now, and I'm just feeling like I'd like to put a little more into that than what's going to be going in there from YouTube, since I've slowed down on making videos. Guys, OEG is still, even when it's like the market is getting hammered like it did those last few days, it's still hovering around that $3 mark. So, you know, with the stuff that came out about, you know, in the earnings call and stuff, in that last earnings call from OEG, as well as more contracts that they've picked up. They picked up 1,900 miles of broadband in Virginia or something like that. You know, I used to hang telephone cable and fiber optics and stuff. And when, like, as a small company that I worked for, we measured jobs in feet, not miles. So, you know, like 1,000-foot job is a full day for a crew, you know, depending on how easy it is. You can do a little bit more if it's easier, or you know, it depends. But, you know, we measured our projects in thousands of feet, not miles. And so when you're talking about a 1,900 mile contract, that's a big ass contract, okay? And they not too long ago had a 1,800 mile one they picked up. So these guys got a lot of work going on. In that last earnings call, they talked about how they had to spend a lot more money than they had planned because they were outfitting a lot of these crews that they're ramping up with, you know, equipment and trucks and etc. And that they feel like a lot of that cost is behind them to a certain extent, because they picked up more than what they needed for these expansions, and they're just rapidly ramping up all these aspects of the business. And they talked about how toward the end of this year and the beginning of next year, they expect that they're going to flip that switch to profitability. And here's the thing, okay? Like all these little runs and some big runs that OEG has had, have been based around picking up contracts and stuff like that. But when you have a company that is posting losses, okay, especially a company like OEG that's completely changed their business model and they're ramping up these brand new sections of their business. Like when you have that occurring and the company is posting losses, okay, it's really hard for institutional investors and big money to put money into a company that's not posting profits, okay? But when the company flips the switch from losses to profitability, and when that moment comes where they go from posting losses to showing profits, things can change very rapidly, okay? Companies, especially with a small market cap like OEG is, like it would not be, out of the question for them to double or triple when they move into profitability. And companies that have been watching them investors that have been watching them and waiting for this switch into profitability, see them start to turn profitable. Things can happen very quickly, all right? Now, I am personally expecting maybe this next earnings or maybe the earnings after, they're going to start showing some profits. And that could happen, like I said, this next earnings, which should be coming up fairly soon. And then the one after that, especially, and I think definitely by the one after that, they should be in the money. And once they're in the money, guys, I really expect that's why these analysts have higher price targets than what one would expect. When you look at the analysts' numbers on this stock, they have them like double and triple from where they are now. And I think that's why, because they see the profitability is right on the horizon for OEG. So anyways, I wanted to put some OEG into the M1 Finance. Obviously I have a really large position in the Roth IRA, and I have a pretty good sized position in the cash account as well. I wanted to have it in the M1 Finance as well, because I just really do see that over the next, say, year, I'm going to make a lot of money on that stock. So that's where I am with that. I'm looking and thinking about something new to put money into in the Roth IRA. Like I said, I've got $600 something in there in cash right now, and I've got about another $1,000 to put in there before I hit that $10,000 mark that I've talked about in as far as my deposits into the Roth IRA. And then I'm going to make a decision going forward once I hit that mark. But as it stands right now, with me flipping to a longer term view, it's possible that I may just continue in the same Roth IRA. But yeah, that's where I'm at, guys. I've been doing a lot of saving and, crunching numbers on my business to come off the road eventually. And, I've when I ran the numbers last week, I have enough money right now so that if I cashed out, my contributions from the Roth and everything else that I've got, I have enough to buy everything that I need right now for the recording studio portion of the business, to build a high quality, high fidelity recording studio, like as far as the equipment itself is concerned. And now we're focused in on continuing to save to have a place to put that, whether that be a house or whether that be starting a jam room business. I'm working toward it. I'm getting closer to my goals. I'm still quite a ways off, a couple years probably, but I'm getting a lot closer, guys. And it feels good. This is the most money I've ever put back in my life like this, and so it feels real good to see the goals coming together and to see me getting a lot closer, to meeting the goals. And it feels good. All right. So I'm not going anywhere. All right. I'm still here, everybody. I'm just, there's not a lot for me to talk about. We've had a lot of negative catalysts in the market. And, really, I expected, with all of the stuff that's culminating over the last week, I expected things to drop a lot more than they did, and I was kind of, part of the reason I made these deposits was waiting on that bigger dip to buy, but I'm not sure if we're going to see it or not. And traditionally September is like the worst month of the year for the stock market, so I was hoping to get some really good low prices to buy, but it hasn't really materialized the way I wanted it to. And then really, October, November, December are traditionally like pretty good months for the stock market, so we could see some moves happen. And I would like to see like some momentum in the stock market build a little bit, and then OEG come out and show some profits. That would be fantastic, guys, if the market was already kind of trending up when they put that news out, because this 1,900-mile contract that they just scored, they put that out on a day where the market was way down, and I don't like that. You know what I mean? Announce that shit on a green day, but it is what it is. You don't have control over that stuff. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate those of you who have stuck around. Stay tuned. I'll post when I have something to say. And I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button.